Hello everyone. Today we're going to take a look at some coins that I purchased from my local coin shop. They have a good variety of foreign coins in a bin that you can just rummage through, but then also in their foreign junk silver, they had some amazing pickups that I got for spot. We're going to look at that last. But first, we're going to go and take a look at these coins, which were purchased out of the 4 for $1 bin. Today we're going to start with a coin from Iceland. This is going to be a typical design that was seen on a lot of Iceland coins back at the time. 1946, this is 1 krona. KM12. Next up, we have a uncirculated coin from Estonia. When you see the 3 lions like this, that is going to be a coin from Estonia, even though you don't really see it all that often. But instead of the krona, they have the kroon. And so Estonia, their countries are going to label themselves as, I guess that's pronounced Eesti Vabaric, or Vabariik, perhaps. Next we have a coin from Pakistan, 1949. That Estonian coin was KM35, by the way. But from Pakistan, we have the quarter rupee, KM number 5. This coin threw me off for a little bit, and you might be able to tell there's some gooey stuff on the coin itself. I think this one was originally glued into an album, and some of the sticky stuff remains on the number 10 here. But when I see para, I normally think of Yugoslavia, but there was another country that used it back up through the 40s, and that would be Turkey. So in 1942, this was their lowest denomination coin. So this was KM number 868. Next up, we have a coin from India. It's the quarter rupee. This was soon after they left the British rule, and they had some coins that only lasted for a couple of years, but during that time they made this quarter rupee in 1954. There are 2 versions of this coin depending on how big the lions are. The larger version gets closer to the letters at the top, but this one there's more of a gap, especially between the N and the top of the middle lion. This one's going to be KM 571. Next up, we have a small coin from the Netherland Antilles. That's probably better known as Curaçao. And their modern coins still look like this. So 1999, going to be 1 cent, KM 32. Next up is a coin from Brazil. I already had this coin of Jose Bonifacio, but in a lot worse shape, so I picked up this replacement. Flip this one over. It's going to be 10 centavos from, trying to zoom in there, I think that says 1966. KM 561. Next up, we have a commemorative coin from the Soviet Union. And let's get a look here. This is going to be the 50th anniversary of the Soviet Union, made in 1967. So this was a 1-year circulating commemorative coin of 10 kopeck. And I guess they're highlighting their space race on this side. That one is KM 136. Next up, we have our first coin today with Queen Elizabeth on it. And this one's going to be from the country of Belize, another one-year commemorative coin from 1985. This is one of the least interesting commemorative coins that I've ever found because all it says on it is to reap, plant. And this is not an FAO coin. This is actually some local foresting organization that they wanted to celebrate on this coin. So I just thought that was interesting how it's a commemorative that just doesn't have a lot interesting. They just put a few extra words on it. Next up, we have a coin from Denmark. We're going to start with the copper coin. That Belize coin was KM77. But this Denmark 2 ore from 1931. Denmark coins oftentimes have mint master initials on it. We have the heart and the letter N on this side. KM 827.2, and oftentimes when the mint master change, that gives it the mint master change, it gives it a different KM number than the previous one. About the same time, we have this copper nickel coin from 1924. This time we have the mint mark, or the initials here of HCN. This one is the 25 ore. KM 823.1. Here's an FAO coin that actually says FAO on it. We've got from Tonga in 2002. They've got a pretty much full-on portrait of their leader of the time. But on this side, on the Tinsaniti coin, we have a banana tree. KM69A, because it was given the A because it was a different metal. Next up, we have a coin from Singapore. And one thing I like to point out with the Singapore coins is at some point the ribbon here changed, and this time the ends are pointing down, but another time they are pointing up. And so that makes it for a different coin. But you don't see the 50-cent coin from Singapore quite as often as some of the others, so I picked that one up. This one also has a lettered edge on it. Actually has the word Singapore. And so that's something else that gives it its own KM number. That makes it KM 53.2. Republic of Singapore. Next we have quite a large but old coin from Vietnam. In 1960, I guess that is 50 Sue. And a few years later, they remade this coin, except they changed the spelling of their currency, got rid of the S and changed it to an X. Maybe you still pronounced it about the same way. But so that does make it two different versions of this coin. It's going to be KM4. Next up, from Spain, where they issued a lot of commemorative coins for pretty much every denomination through the 90s. This is 25 pesetas, highlighting País Vasco. $19.93. KM 920. And then from the 4 for $1 coins, our last one's going to be from the Republic of Haiti in 2003. I'd never had this coin before, but this particular box had about 20 of these, all well worn. This one was the best one I could find. We have some kind of castle on this side, and their currency is the gourd. And that one is KM 155. So let me go ahead and put up these 4 for $1 coins, and then we're going to open up the silver coins here next. So everything that we see here, I paid spot price for everything here, and there's a couple of things that I thought were particularly interesting, that especially to get it for spot, I thought was amazing. We're going to start with coins. I like this dealer, how he gives you one of these good, clear flips for every coin. And so I'm paying spot price for this, and I did look it up a little bit later. Sometimes I've seen him weigh it, but this time, and I'm not sure, but he did charge me spot price for all these on the day I went. Silver spot was about $20.50. He has a television in there set to the spot price, and he actually looks up when it's time to check out. He'll look up there and sell it for whatever the price says up there by the ounce. But we're going to start with this coin that was made by the United States, but this is not a coin from the United States. Instead, this was designed to circulate in the Philippines. This is the 20 centavos coin from here. There is an older design of this coin that is 90% silver, but at this time, in 1917, they were going at 75% silver. So this one has 0.0965 ounce of silver in it, which would make it worth about $2. It's KM 170. Next up, we have a coin from Australia. George VI on it. Might be the most well-worn, or at least discolored, of all the silver coins that I picked up on that day. But here we have kind of the typical Australian silver look, or crest look to it. The florin is equal to 2 shillings using the old currency system that they used to have. So we've got the emu and the kangaroo on the left. At this time, they'd already reduced the silver content to 50%, so this is 0.1818 ounces of silver, or that would make this worth about $3.50. Next up, we have a coin from Iran. Their coins tend to have the lion holding a sword with the sun rising behind it and a crown above that. This is a 1 rial coin. They had a similar design and size coin for quite a while, but this was when it was still made of 60% silver. They have the Arabic numerals on there on the bottom. Their Arabic numerals are actually a little bit different than other Middle Eastern countries. That is especially on their number 4, which is the last digit on here. I don't know how well you can read that, but the 3, the 2, and the 4 all look kind of similar on here. But that is the year 1324 on their calendar, which on our calendar made it 1945. This is KM 1143. It's 60% silver, so it's just got 0.03 ounces of silver in there, making that worth about 60 cents. Next up, we have a coin from Spain. 1904. Features are well worn, although the letters show up pretty good on here. Alfonso the 13th. And when we flip that over, we've got 50 centimes, or centimos, I should say, which was half of a peseta. And if you've seen coins from Spain, more of the modern coins from Spain throughout the 1900s, the date that appears on the coin is the year that the coin was first made. The actual date appears in the smaller stars, and they did that even in 1904. So I can't zoom in far enough to get the actual date on there, and it's not going to focus either. But it's so well worn that I'm not sure the actual date, but it could have been anywhere from 1904 to 10 years after that. This coin is 0.835 silver, KM 723, and has a silver content of 0.0671, worth about $1.25 of silver weight. Now let's get to something a little bit larger from Germany, or Deutschland. Usually when you find these 5-mark coins from Deutschland, they're commemoratives. They're in usually really nice shape. This one is a little bit dirty, not too bad though, but pretty good for buying it at spot. We've got the eagle there. It says 1971 underneath the wings. And this one celebrates the 100th year of that government building that is highlighted here. This one is KM 128.1, and their 5-mark commemorative coins are all 0.625 silver. So that makes this 0.2250 ounces of silver, which means I paid $4.50 for it. Next up, we're going to move to something that is not a circulating coin, but this one is going to be a casino token. And I've seen some other coin collecting channels that like to get the silver out of these tokens, and maybe I wouldn't pay a premium for it, but to get it at spot, I thought this one was particularly interesting. 100 pesos. And this one is going to be from the Manila Bay Casino. And so I collect foreign coins from every country, but I do have a special place in my head for the Philippines, since I have a lot of coworkers from there, and I do think highly of them. And so I thought to find a casino that a casino token that I could buy for spot. I thought that was pretty interesting. I looked it up, a little bit about this casino. I don't know anything about casinos really, and so it was off the coast of Manila, where they were allowed to have casinos there for a while. If I read it correct, all of the casinos there are owned by the government, and but if they put them on a boat, then they could have them legally off on, as long as they weren't on land. I guess that's how it works. And now I do think it's interesting that they use they spell peso with an I instead of an E. So I thought that was kind of interesting. But this is 0.999 silver, so it's 0.63 ounces of silver, and this was made in 1978. So the spot price on this was $12.60. But this last one is the one that I thought was just amazing, and haven't really seen anything like this before. Maybe I have, but certainly nothing like this in my collection. You can probably tell pretty easily that this is something from China. It is a 10 yuan coin. Certainly has an interesting design that I like. We're going to flip this one over, and the coin catalog I have called this just a building. It didn't describe anything about that, but this was made in the year 2000. If you want to look up, the KM number of this one is 1325. And so, like I said, I'd never seen anything about like this before. The coin store usually doesn't get anything like this to come in. And so they paid close to spot for it, and then they sold it to me for spot price. But then when I did a little bit of digging on this, I found out that this is actually a pretty rare coin. And of course, it's got this unusual scalloped, or some people call it a flower design. So apparently every year China makes a year of, if you're familiar with the Chinese culture, every year has like a year of the monkey, year of uh, different animals. And in 2000, it was year of the dragon. So every year they do make, they have several series of commemorative coins that they come out with every year. There's a panda design of the year. This is the Chinese year of coin. But then when I did a little bit of extra digging on this, I found out that they only made 6,800 of these. And that is very rare for commemorative coins and that are released by a government like this. And so that makes this one particularly rare. I tried to figure out a value of this, and the price guide's only going to tell you the value if it is in uncirculated condition. This one is has some wear to it, which you're definitely not going to see a whole lot. I even went on eBay and checked the current listing, the sold listings. There's not a lot of them on there, but the ones that I've seen were either in the original mint packaging or had been graded. And the cheapest one I could find was still over $200. And so I know this one is not going to have that value of $200, but to find something that rare and this sought after, to get it at spot price, I thought was amazing. This is 2/3 of an ounce, so that's going to make the spot price on this $13.55. And to me, that is amazing. And so to get something like that. So obviously it's all scratched up. I mean, it was sitting in a box of other silver coins. It's got even a little bit of corrosion on here, but to have paid